Scotland's relentless cold, rain, and greyness had done little to impress Owen so far. It felt unfair that 400 years ago, his ancestors had chosen to depart for the New World. And now he found himself stuck in this foreign land, attempting to enjoy a cigarette outside the only pub in town. His girlfriend, Mariana, had convinced him to return to his homeland in the name of exploring his roots. Personally, he considered it a missed opportunity for a perfectly good vacation. Mariana, however, appeared to be having the time of her life. She had an insatiable fascination with conspiracy theories, and Owen suspected that the allure of his family's Loch Ness connection played a more significant role in this trip than any half-hearted pursuit of self-discovery. There she was, as cheerful as ever, having a conversation with a man who had clearly indulged in several pints.
There's just no other explanation for it.
He drawled in a thick local accent.
Nessie must be back. What else could make that many people disappear around the loch?
How many people are missing? Mariana's eyes widened with fear, yet beneath the surface, Owen detected a hint of morbid fascination. His thoughts drifted while they continued to talk about the recent missing persons cases, until he was jolted back into the present by Mariana's hand tugging at his sleeve. Owen, we have to go. 4 people have gone missing this month, all around the loch. This could really be something. She continued without waiting for his answer. I have to see it. Let's go right now. Rory says he'll take us. Rory, a homeless man they had met earlier, extended an invitation with a turn of his head. Owen, reluctant but intrigued, found himself with no compelling reason to decline. The rain eased into a gentle drizzle as Rory led the way. Mariana continued to bombard their guide with questions, while Owen remained silent. Approaching the water's edge, the loch's eerie stillness draped their surroundings in an unsettling, foreboding aura. Their guide, seemingly unfazed, continued to lead them deeper into the heart of the uncertainty. The trio moved with cautious determination, every step echoing with an unspoken sense of foreboding. Amidst the unsettling silence, Owen grappled with the thought of whether it had been sufficient time to propose they head back when he was interrupted by a sound. It was like a whine. It was a strange sound, long and low and mournful. Owen desperately tried to convince himself that it was merely the wind rustling through the trees. Rory froze. What is it? Mariana hissed in a harsh whisper. Rory looked at her. Until now, he had been relaxed, but now he seemed genuinely petrified. If this was all some kind of hoax, then the man deserved an Oscar for his performance. Maybe it's time to head back, Owen said. Someone had to be the voice of reason. Mariana grabbed his arm though, tugging at him and looking up at him with a disappointed expression. We can't leave now. Not when we finally heard something, she whined. Come on, just a few more minutes. Owen rolled his eyes, but he gave in to her request like he always did. Their companion remained silent, focused on the mournful wail's haunting melody. His sharp eyes scanned the surroundings with intense concentration. Only a few seconds passed between the thought that maybe they really were in danger and the beast moving into their line of sight. It was impossibly fast, just a dark shape cutting through the water like a speedboat, powering forward to where they stood. Mariana's hand gripped Owen's arm on instinct, and he wrapped his frozen fingers around her elbow in response. Rory stood between them and the water's edge, and everyone seemed to be collectively holding their breath. When the monster struck, it was sudden. A long, curved neck stretched out of the water, ending with a face that looked like something out of Jurassic Park. It was still too dark to make out the details, but Owen could see the thing's eyes without any effort. They were dark and fierce, glistening in the moonlight as they locked in on its prey. That was all the warning they got, and none of them were quick enough to turn and run. The head came down like a whip, stretching its jaw open wide and latching onto Rory by the throat. A multitude of sharp, serrated teeth sank mercilessly into his flesh, ripping it apart and causing his blood to cascade down. He didn't even have time to scream. The monstrous creature surged upward, hoisting Rory's lifeless body high into the air. It gave him a hard shake, like a dog might do, and the couple could hear the unmistakable snap of his bones giving way. "Mariana, run!" Owen shouted as soon as his fight-or-flight instincts kicked in. Gripping her arm tightly, he yanked her forward, her mouth still agape with shock. And together, they tore through the dense underbrush, driven by sheer panic. Branches lashed against their faces, but their determination to flee drove them onward in the general direction of the road. By the time they were able to flag down a passing car, Mariana was hysterical. There was blood caked into her hair from several small cuts, and she couldn't seem to pull more than a few words together in order, just muttering words like monster and real. When they told their story to people in town, everyone rolled their eyes at the tale of some drunk American tourists who let themselves get carried away by their imaginations. Owen and Mariana were left scarred. Days after their terrifying encounter, Owen began to experience haunting dreams. In his sleep, something from the highlands called out to him, beckoning him towards the loch. Unable to resist the relentless pull, Owen and Mariana returned to Loch Ness later that week. They ventured back to the small highland village, hoping to find more information about the creature. Deep in the archives of a small library, they stumbled upon a weathered journal that belonged to one of Owen's ancestors from centuries ago. As they leafed through the pages, they discovered entries detailing encounters with the Loch Ness monster. The journal described gruesome rituals performed by Owen's ancestors, dark sacrifices to appease the ancient terror that lurked in the depths of the loch. Dread filled Owen's heart as he realized the truth. The creature was not a mere legend, but a malevolent guardian of the Highland secrets. Following the instructions from the journal, Owen and Mariana embarked on an expedition back to Loch Ness. Armed with their newfound knowledge and a growing sense of dread, they arrived at the loch's shore, determined to confront the creature and destroy it. The rituals described in the journal were gruesome. They involved chanting ancient guttural incantations that resonated with the very darkness of the loch. The night was filled with howling winds and rain, as if nature itself was protesting their presence. As they chanted, a deep, low growl echoed from the water. Suddenly, the Loch Ness monster emerged. It was different this time, more aggressive and relentless than ever before. The creature's enormous head, with eyes gleaming with malevolence, bore down on them. Terrified and unable to complete the rituals in time, Owen and Mariana watched in horror as the Loch Ness monster's gaping mouth stretched wide, exposing rows of razor-sharp teeth. The creature was filled with a vengeful fury as its eyes examined Owen and Mariana. Then, in a heart-wrenching final act of desperation, Owen forcibly pushed Mariana towards the oncoming creature. The monster's jaws snapped shut with incredible force, tearing her apart in a gruesome display of carnage. Her screams were silenced as she was devoured, her blood staining the dark waters. Owen, with a grim smile, could only watch as the Loch Ness monster returned to the depths, leaving him completely alone. Owen's sacrificial act, like those of his ancestors before him, was the price paid to appease the ancient terror that lurked in Loch Ness. His family had not only feared the Loch Ness monster, but had also worshipped it for centuries, offering its sacrifices to protect themselves and their land. And this time, centuries later, it was dear Mariana. Owen was left forever bound to the horrifying legend of the loch.